What's up, everybody? So I'm going to show you the last part of putting this crank in. So a couple of things that we've already done is we've already done all the machine work to the block, got it set up with the line hone and everything on the inside of the caps to the block to make sure everything sits even. So usually we'd go through and we'd use this feeler gauge. But we already did that step, make sure everything fits. One of the things I want to show you is when we're putting in our top caps here, I have a little technique that I like to use. So I take, this is our bearing, this is our ACL tri-metal bearing. There'll be a little notch right there, and there's also a little notch right here on the bearing. That will sit down into this sleeve. So what you want to do is before you set that down in there, you make sure there's no material left over from machining, and you set that in there and just squeeze it down in there. And I will usually I'll take my fingers at the bottom and I'll hold the bottom down here with either side of my fingers to kind of see if it wants to walk. And I'll tap this side and I'll tap this side. Then what I'll do is I'll feel and see when that bearing fits flush on both sides, so I know it's set. So I'll do the same thing. If you look, there's a little gap here. But after I give it a little bit of a tap, hold it in the center, I can kind of feel what's going on. And if you notice, these two right here, they hit pretty even, so you can get a good idea of when they're level. So I like what I'm seeing there, maybe just a little touch more over to that side. I like it. Then I can visually look at the bearing, make sure it's not hanging over either side. And each one of these is also marked. So it shows an arrow, says rear. So what we'll do is front, middle, rear. This is our thrust bearing. Keeps our crank from walking for a 6-bolt. So what I'll do is I'll flip these over now, and I'll go one at a time. We also have the girdle to put in, so that makes it a little trickier because when you don't use a girdle and you don't have caps that are linked together, because these are, you know, 2 caps in one, you do one at a time, working your way down, torquing them, and then each time you torque one down, you spin it to see if it's free. That way, if one binds up, you know it's that one. But we have to kind of do it a little different, and I'll explain. So what we want to do next is just make sure we don't have any material in there. We want those pretty much as glassy as absolutely possible. So we'll just give them one more wipe down here, make sure all that lube is out of them. And then I'll do every single one of those. Visually inspect your bearings. If you see nicks or anything like that in them or something that don't look funny, don't put it together. So we're going to look and make sure there's no nicks or problems from the manufacturer. Everything looks good? All right. So next, we're going to just do another little visual check. You can't over check this stuff. Just make sure everything looks good. It's the point of precision. So we're going to start with the rear. Alright. Try not to get any on those tips. Get a little wipe down there, it'll squeeze itself out. Alright. So, I'm going to check our arrows. This is the rear, pointing towards the front. Very gingerly set them down like so. All right, we'll go with our next one. It's our thrust bearing. You want to also check, you know, the bottom there. Make sure that there's nothing inside your inner journal, oil journal there. Real gingerly. We'll set it over top. Let it go down there. All right. One more. This is a little different, you know, for Hondas and Toyotas. Pretty much same thing, but everything's a little bit different. I had to just kick my rabbit because she's over there making noise. Little brat wants to eat all my instructions. My rabbit, my pet rabbit, thinks she is a dog. So yeah, that's Slinky. That's her name, Slinky. So once again, very gingerly, we'll set that down on there. So now we're gonna give everything a good little tap there. Give it a spin. All right. So now comes the fun part. We're gonna put this girdle on. And let's see. This girdle is designed to go on one way and one way only. So if you look up here, it is machined perfect to fit right over top of that. Just like so. Will not fit the other way. So let's see here. I think I'm hitting. So I'll flip it. And boom. We are on. All right. Now we are going to clean our fingers up, put another rag, and get ready for the ARP lube. Oh yeah. So what I always do is I take my lovely box here, and squeeze some lube out there. Yeah, that should. Don't touch your face with it because it'll be everywhere. So I guess the technique with this is I think you just have to lube the top of these. I don't think you have to lube underneath the girdle. I see no reason why. You'll still get a proper torque. You know, it doesn't hurt to oil everything, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to do the nut. That way it seats down when I torque it. Gives me a proper torque spec. So take our washer there. Yeah, lovely washers. So squeeze those out. And we will start putting those on one at a time. Try not to get this anywhere that you don't need it. Because you will be wearing it on your face like makeup. Now, when you go, if you read the instructions, I believe these said, I don't know, the rabbit probably ran off with my instructions, but I believe it said 70 foot-pounds. I've read in forums, some people say to do more, some people say to do less. I definitely wouldn't do less, but you know, it depends if you're using oil or ARP fastener lube as well. They have different specs for those too. And, you know, everything's pretty much based off of opinion. You know, we all have opinions. We all have assholes. They all stink. Kind of just your own preference of how you feel is the right way to do it, and use your better judgment for your application. And if people don't like it, well, go gap their ass at the racetrack. That's what we plan on doing. Just a little bit of info for all my fans, aka haters. So we'll go ahead and make sure all those are done. Oy. Try and clean up a little bit. Put all of these nuts on. These nuts on. And torque sequence. So front to back is usually the way to go. I'll do these two. And some people say do them in increments. And I agree with that. I like the increments. I know a lot of people that just snug them down to torque spec the first time, but I like to go through slowly and just kind of make sure everything's working one at a time. So what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll get them all finger tight. Finger tight like a toiga. Okay, make sure everything's clean. Make sure the inside of them threads are properly coated as well. Wipe off any excess. Like I just got a bunch of excess on that one, but that's okay. I'll just move it over here. Happy mistakes, guys. Bob Ross taught me that. You know, art is art. It doesn't matter if you're painting or filming pornography. You know, happy mistakes. Building motors, it's all the same. Pretty much, you spend all your money on something pretty, and then you break it. I'm kidding. Wife's looking at me like, dude, really? All right, so everything's finger tight like a toiga. So now what we're going to do is, I ain't going to show you the boring process of us tightening them, but I'm going to go through and I'm going to do these two. Boom, boom, and then I'm going to spin it, make sure everything spins nice. Do this one, then I'll do this one, I'll do this one. I'll probably start at 50 pounds and then work my way to 75. So, thanks for watching. Follow, like, subscribe, share, and we'll give you the next segment of doing the pistons. Next, I believe we're going to ring them. We're going to show you how to ring the pistons, where they go, why they go there, the proper way to do it. Also, get the ring gap and put the wrist pins and everything in. Put our bearings in the motor and send it. So, yeah, guys, thanks for watching. See you on the streets.